What's up, Uncommon? Jackie here. I am tuning in from my home office right now. It's a little bit of a barren room, but I got my coffee, I'm chilling out, and I'm ready to talk to you guys. So thanks for hopping on here really quick with me. I want to talk to you a little bit about our Weightlifting 101 program that we offer here at Uncommon. So this program happens 2 times per week. It goes down on Thursdays, depending on the month or what time of the month it is. It happens at 5:30 p.m. or 6:30 p.m. And then we also offer this program every Saturday at 9:30 a.m. So originally the intent behind this program was to specifically drill the technique of the snatch, clean, and jerk because they are two extremely technical movements. I'm sure that we all have faults in the snatch, clean, and jerk. And as I'm sure you all know, I primarily practice Olympic weightlifting throughout the week. So that's been primarily my programming for about 3.5 years now. And I actually, if you read my post that is going with this video, I did the math and it's been almost 1,500 hours just working on the snatch, clean, and jerk, which is pretty crazy. I love the sport of weightlifting, and you probably noticed that I am the primary coach throughout the week who hosts these classes. And so I can't help but notice over the past couple months that not only do specific people come to the Weightlifting 101 class on Thursdays and Saturdays, but I also can't help but feel like the current setup of Weightlifting 101 is really serving our members anymore. Like I said, the original intent behind this program was to teach people the specifics of the snatch, clean, and jerk. But as we get into this a little bit more, we have some people who have been a part of the Weightlifting 101 program for months, maybe even years. You know exactly who I'm talking to right now. If you're watching this video, you know who you are. And then I also have people who come in who are like from scratch beginners. And so even with that current setup, if I have two of those types of people coming in on, let's say, a Thursday Weightlifting 101 class, that programming needs to look different for each of you guys. And so I, myself, every single time I walk into Weightlifting 101, I'm not really sure how or what the programming is going to look like. It really depends on who's participating. So if I have a beginner, the way I coach it is completely different. The way I warm you guys up is different. The way I teach the mechanics is different. And then eventually it turns into one person working on one specific complex on the snatch, let's say, for example, and then another person working on another specific complex of the snatch. And it just, to me, feels a little bit disorganized and like it's not really satisfying the intent behind the classes when they were originally set up. And so I'm thinking that we no longer offer Weightlifting 101 every single week, twice a week. And I know that at first that might make people a little bit like weary, but it allows for two things. The first is if we offer the Weightlifting 101 program in, let's say, 8-week cycles, it will allow the opportunity for not only me as a coach, but you as an athlete to just start from scratch and work from step one to improve your technique on both lifts. And so that allows us to cohesively as a class over the course of 8 weeks to build and build and build, as opposed to having one person come in, work on the structure of the snatch or the technique of the snatch, clean, and jerk, and then go on their merry way and then not come back to Weightlifting 101 class again for 2 months or for a month or ever again. So I can't help but notice that that is a really common trend that happens here. Additionally, I think that if we no longer offered Weightlifting 101 every single week, that it would allow us the opportunity to add other components of fitness into those time slots that the Weightlifting 101 class happens. So we're in an ever-evolving industry. Things are ever-changing, and complacency is a really dangerous place to be. And so maybe getting those extra 2 hours a week outside of that 8-week program to allow for other programs for you guys to try out would be so much more worth your while than just having the consistent every single week 1-hour class. And so the way that I'm thinking that this looks is that we start off, we'll still offer it 2 times a week. So Thursdays, we would offer probably around 6 to 7:30 p.m. We would just work on the technique of the snatch, clean, and jerk. That would be a very specific class, and it's made, the programming would be progressive. So we would all start together from step one, and then we would work our way down to the floor. And the goal of these sessions would be to improve your speed under the bar. So if you're someone who's really scared to get under the bar, or if you know that your power snatch or your power clean is better or heavier than your squat snatch or your squat clean, then this is definitely a program that you want to try out, because we're going to work on speed under the bar. And then our next component would be establishing good leg drive and hip extension. So if you've had me in weightlifting in any capacity, whether it be in classes or in Weightlifting 101, you've probably heard me say that 99% of mistakes that happen in the snatch, clean, and jerk happen when you break the floor. And 9 times out of 10, it has something to do with the fact that you didn't establish a full hip extension, you didn't establish a strong leg drive, or your speed under the bar is really slow. And so that's the first component of this 8-week program. Is Thursdays from 6 to 7:30. We would just drill the crap out of those 3 things: is speed, leg drive, and hip extension. And then that way, if we have every single person on this program, and then the following week we have you build from there. After that, we would also reserve Saturdays for structure work. So you guys are really familiar, especially if you're in the CrossFit classes, you're really, really familiar with all of the sandbag work we do and the internal and external torque chain work that we stress. And so we would reserve a full hour just to that type of work. So over the course of the 8 weeks, you would not attend Saturday WOD prior to, and this would start around 9:30 to 10:30, or, tentatively we could even change up that schedule as we go. It might end up being an hour and a half class or an hour class, but it would be specific to structure, right? So you guys probably know that in the sport of weightlifting, it really requires you to have a strong range of motion in your ankles, your hips, and your shoulders. And so if our structure isn't sound, then we just keep building you up and building you up. And if we don't do that, then you're at risk for injury, right? If you're sitting there and you're like, well, I want to get stronger in the snatch, clean, and jerk, but you don't have the structure to support that, then all that's going to result in is injury for you. And I've seen it in our Weightlifting 101 program, some people dealing with these nagging injuries over and over and over again, that they're just having to modify everything in the first place. So that's kind of what it would look like. So Thursdays would be specific to weightlifting. Saturdays would be specific to structure. We'd be doing some really, really cool stuff, and I think that you guys would really enjoy it, and it would be worth your while if this is something you're interested in, especially if you're passionate about snatch, clean, and jerk, and you want to get better at these lifts. Additionally, with that, there does come a little bit of a financial investment on your end, and the reason for that is like what I said earlier, is we have people who come into Weightlifting 101, they come one time, and then they never show up again. And so being that this would be a progressive program, we would anticipate and we would set the expectation that you would be there every single session for the 8 weeks that we would do this thing. If no one jumps on this opportunity, we're looking for probably around 6 to 8 people minimum. If no one jumps on this opportunity, then we as coaches interpret that as weightlifting not really being a primary priority of our members, and that's okay. But we want to at least know, so we're not wasting people's time offering just the Weightlifting 101 every single week, 2 times a week. And maybe we can play around and find things that you guys are passionate about and include it in those hours instead. So there's going to be a poll at the bottom of this post. I really, really encourage every single one of you, even if you're not a part of this Weightlifting 101 program and you're not interested at all, please fill out the post. It would really mean a lot to us feedback-wise, for us coaches to make sure that we're serving our members as best we can. So enjoy the rest of your day.